Big hi to everybody. Today we meet after a long time with a new video. So I'm going to talk about food and the vocabulary you may need to talk about food. So in today's video, I hope to cover some vocabulary you may need to talk about food. So now I'm at a local restaurant. We are going to taste some local food. Kind of food you may find in Sri Lanka. The staples, the main meal, rice and curry. So we're going to have a look at some rice and curry, and we're going to learn some vocabulary that may help you talk about the food. When we talk about food, we mainly talk about the way it looks, and we may talk about the aroma or the smell or the fragrance of the food, and then we may focus on when we eat, we know what it tastes like, so we can talk about the taste. And then I would like to teach you some words that may help you to talk about the texture, how it feels to your tongue and to your fingers. So I'm going to eat the food with my fingers, no forks, no spoons, and only using my fingers. Let's have a closer look at the food we have here. This is the plate of food I'm going to eat today. You can see some delicious curries. I think the rice is topped by these curries. Let's see. This is lacia roots. This is a kind of a local root, a fibrous root you may find in Sri Lanka. And then we have this is this brownish curry. It's like a thick sauce, but it is June plums with a lot of spices and a lot of, let us say, local spices, right? In the center you find some sprats, small fish, and they are fried well. And in the center you may find a fish steak that is also fried. And then you can see here, this is rich gourd, a bit spongy. I will talk about how it feels like. There's some vocabulary to talk about that. Here I have a papadum, that is also, I think, one part of Indian cuisine. And some shredded coconut made into a sambal. We call it coconut sambal. And again another thick curry. You can see it's almost like some porridge. It's so thick and creamy. It is taro roots. It's called taro. I'll show you some pictures. I think when the video comes out you may see some of that. So I'm going to eat the food with my fingers. So this is so delicious. I'm going to set the camera aside and so that you can see my plate of food filled with delicious curries. And this is boiled rice. So normally a lot of Sri Lankans eat boiled rice with curries for their lunch and dinner, basically, if it is not for breakfast. So I will go for a kind of a description here. You will, I think, find really helpful when you eat the next meal. I hope you would try to talk about what you are eating and think to yourself in English. That will help you, I think, to internalize the language, to make it your own. So let's dig into the food. So it's filled, the plate is completely filled with different types of curries. So I'm going to have a quick taste, and the major thing, the most important thing is the taste and the texture, in my opinion. So I will talk about this texture and the taste, right? So that will help, I think, a lot, rather than talking about the way it looks. You don't find any garnishing here. It's just a plate full of rice filled with topped with curries. So Sri Lankan curries. Some of them are raw, and it's Sri Lankan cuisine, right? That is also an important word. The kind of cuisine is, I think it has some connections with Indian cuisine sometimes, but it is basically Sri Lankan. So we have these different methods of cooking and spices used in Sri Lankan cuisine. So you can see This is sprats. They are like how it feels is it's crispy. You can see that it breaks when I try to bend it, so it breaks. That means it is crispy. So crispy fried sprats. That's what you find on the top. And here I think you can see here what you find is lazier roots. You can see I think it has these small stringiness. You can see some strings. It is fibrous, right? That is sort of fiber. I think it is good for your, let's say, your digestive system. It cleans it up, I think, because of these fibrousness of the roots. And I hope you can see this. This is a bit sticky and creamy and starchy. This is taro roots cooked in coconut milk. I think they have simmered it for some time, or for a long time. That's why it is so creamy and so thick. And I may feel like having a mouthful of it. Let's put some things together and let's enjoy one morsel of it. You know what one single morsel means? One mouthful of food. So I'm going to combine taro roots and some shredded coconut sambal and just a bit of this June plum curry made into a thick gravy. You can see I'm going to mix them all and have one bite. You may not see me eating it, just the mixing part of it. It tastes really delicious, and the combination of textures, crispiness from sprats and soft and smooth texture from taro roots and bit tough spiciness from the June plum curry, and shredded coconuts adds a bit of heat to it, so it's a bit hot because they have added chili into this coconut sambal. So chili adds the heat. When we talk about the crispiness, one good example is this papada. So you can hear, I think, the sound when I break it. It makes a noise, a cracking sound, right? That's why we call this crispy. It doesn't bend, it breaks if you try to bend it. So papadam is a good example of food being crispy. And if I try the fish, you can see it's soft and it breaks very easily. It is really soft. They have cooked it well. So I'm going to taste some of the fish as well. As the basic purpose of doing today's video is teaching you some of the words you may be using when you talk about food. Let's think about the kind of taste we have here, combination of taste we have on this plate of food. Let's say if I take the coconut sambal, it's a bit hot, right? The heat is there, but I'm not sure whether it is considered to be a taste or not, but it is hot. Heat is there. Just like chili pepper, it has some heat to it. And if I take the fish and other meats have the umami taste. So the taste we have in fish, maybe mutton, maybe pork, maybe beef, the taste is called umami. Sometimes MSG has the same taste. That's why we add MSG to some other food items to make it taste like the meat. Now I can talk about the taste I have here in this June plum. I will show you a piece of that. It's like, I think June plums are halved, cut into two halves, and then I think they have cooked it in that thick sauce. Basically, sauce may taste a bit different from the June plum itself. So if I take a piece of this and taste this, you know, just like the raw June plum, it is sour. So we have umami taste and sour taste now. I'll have a small piece of it. I think they have added lot of sugar into this. It's almost like sweet now, rather than tasting sour. But anyway, originally you know that June plum and lime basically sour, right? This is sour taste. I would count that as sour taste, and this is umami taste. And if I move on to some other taste, let's say I don't have anything bitter here. That's something like bitter gourd, something like let's say very thick coffee like espresso. If you have it very thick, it gives out a kind of bitter taste. So I don't have anything bitter, unfortunately, on the plate. So one taste is bitter, you have to remove the word. And then we may have salty taste. If you add a lot of salt into your food, it becomes salty. When they dry this fish, maybe sprats or some big fish, they add a lot of salt to it, so it may taste salty. Some food may feel sweet, so I have here some wadalapang, I think made with a lot of sugar. So this could normally the dessert could include a lot of sweets and sweet taste. Umami, sour, and salty, and here it is sweet, and something like bitter gourd is bitter. Those are the 5 basic tastes we have when it comes to food and drinks. And what you normally feel is actually a combination of taste, not just one taste. It's a combination. So if you add chili pepper or something similar, like maybe pepper, chili pepper, it makes it hot. In English, that's the word we use to describe the heat of the food. So it is hot then. I'm really hungry, so I'm going to have a few bites and then continue describing the food. Actually, when it comes to food, if you don't have much of a taste in the food, like this is a good example. This is a rich gourd. They have like peeled off the outer layer of that, and then you can see the flesh of it is not that thick. There's a bit of a thin layer of flesh, and then the inside of that, I hope you can see, I'm going to try to separate that inside part of that. People call this loofah as well. Actually, it has 2 varieties. This basically has almost no taste, right? The additions may bring in some taste if you, the spices and the stuff, but basically this is something that has almost no taste, like snake gourd. Then we call it bland. This is kind of bland food, right? You don't taste anything, almost like it may well be like just like drinking some water, almost like no taste. I think it has a bit of a creaminess. I think flavor is a bit you feel a bit of a flavor thanks to the coconut milk, I hope, and the spices added. Otherwise it's bland food. Bland food means it has no taste, almost like tasting like water. I hope by now we have covered some words. So umami taste, sour taste, bitter taste, sweet taste, and salty taste. Those are the 5 tastes. And the texture could be soft and creamy, like this taro curry here, and it could be soft like this. It may just like come off the bones like this. It's so soft. And it could be like squishy, so you can see that if you press it, it may like it feels like squishy, right? It's squishy, and you can easily I think squeeze it like that. So those are the basic vocabulary we have learned today, and this is Sri Lankan cuisine, and I think that's it. We hope to continue this food talk, talking about food, to another video. That's going to be it for the day today. So do not forget to subscribe to my channel and help the channel grow, and give it a thumbs up. That will help me reach out to more people who would like to learn English. So thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.